Exit of turn 4 down to the front straightaway, waiting on that green flag to start. Here it is. The green flag is out, and we're underway. Oh, a little contact right there. 22 car gets a little bit loose. Cedric. These guys up front look like they're taking it really easy this first couple of corners. You see guys now 3 wide, easing down into turn 3. A lot of sliding around. Just look at Jeff Burton, though, driving away from this field.
And your eyes are not deceiving you that we see Justin Allgaier in that red number 7 with the yellow number using the apron below the racing surface right here on corner exit. I expect to see left side tires below there.
Oh, someone is sideways. Jeremy Clements, broadside through the corner. This track is really, really difficult and edgy on new tires. Takes a little bit for the tires to get comfortable and come in and grip up. The air pressures are really, really low as 10 pounds in the left side tires starting off. Trying to take advantage of that on the long run.
This is one of the most difficult racetracks on restarts. Super low air pressure, just no grip whatsoever, and all the question marks. What line do I run in? You want to see Noah Gregson right there in that 9 car. You would think on a flat racetrack the bottom's the way to go, but look at the 51 car on the outside. Gets a better run. It's such a challenging racetrack to complete a pass.
Yeah, it's easy to get right here, like A.J. Allmendinger, underneath the car. But then you've got to get in the throttle and open up the steering wheel on corner exit. You can't do it. The guy on the outside has the momentum and takes the spot back. Teammates side by side here for Junior Motorsports.
Brett Moffitt right behind him in that 0-2 car.
And Hemrick working his way up through the field pretty quickly here in this 18. Man has had a fast race car for several weeks. Looking to be in contention to get that first win. Fast again today, right out of the gate.
You mentioned Hemrick, you know, disappointed. As we see the battle up front with Allmendinger and Cindric. I was going to mention how Brett Moffitt's coming off a 6th place run in Atlanta. These two up here battling. It was a tough start for Cindric in Atlanta. A little bit smoother start today. Oh,
boom, boom. Yeah, I love it. See, that's what you can do. This race is like a short track. And when I say race is like a short track, I mean, I don't care if you hit me a little bit, Jeff. You just better not spin me out.
Yeah, don't hit me too much.
I'll go one further and tell you it is a short track. I'll disappoint everybody with that.
So why is this pass so hard to make? Because look how close that is, but that 16 car of Allmendinger, he's on the bottom of the racetrack. That is the lowest amount of banking in these corners. And so you've got position on a guy, you're underneath him. That's where you normally want to be, but you lose banking, and that makes you lose grip. That's why that pass is so difficult.
I like that line right there of the 11, Justin Haley. He kind of went in a little bit, Junior, to that second group of banking, made a diamond and a straighter shot off. He's going to do it again down here. You see him up the racetrack. Can he get the car turned in the middle? That's the only way this works. It looks like it turns pretty good. He'll have pretty good speed on exit. See if he crosses over Allmendinger.
You see that 11 car on that outside out there trying to find some momentum. Harrison Burton moving into 5th spot here, possibly. Clemens fights back on the outside here.
Love this run by the 51 of Jeremy Clements up here battling the big names.
Yeah, Marty's got some info on that 21 or that 51.
That's right, trying to take advantage of some nice starting position. He started 8th today, but running in the 5th position right now, trying to hang on to that with some of the bigger names in the sport. You know, Jeremy will tell you, New Hampshire, not one of my better racetracks. His best finish ever here, 13th. But when you look at that cut line right now, plus 54 above it, Michael Annett out of this race. Jeremy knows this is a big shot for us to gain some points, especially on that 1 car. Right now doing a terrific job gaining spots at the start of the race.
There you see it. Annett not in the race today, but in 12th position. A great opportunity for Clements to make that gap a little bit bigger and bring Herbst into the argument, into the conversation. Brandon Brown's not too far out of this either. This is a great opportunity for him. He started far back in the field, but a good finish today. That's the bad thing about it, though, for Brandon, is that he started so far back. Those stage points will be difficult for him to get.
Christopher Bell on the very bottom of the racetrack. No banking whatsoever down there. You see how much ground he made up on corner entry. Just so difficult to get it to stick into the corner.
16 car of A.J. Allmendinger gets around The 22 of Cindric for second place. Cindric fighting back on the inside.
College car is strong early. First, second, fourth. Pretty impressive.
That's such a difficult thing to get down on the inside of the corner, not get loose. Even more contact. AJ trying to crowd the 22, take away his opportunity to get in the throttle. Really great racing right out of the gate here at New Hampshire in the Xfinity Series. We'll be right back after this. Back in New Hampshire, got a great battle for the lead. AJ Allmendinger, Justin Haley, the colleague cars are going at it, going after Jeb Burton. AJ almost had the position up alongside of his teammate Jeb and just couldn't pull it off.
Both of you drivers were astonished by the depth that 16 could drive down to the corner, way deeper than the 10 car. Once again, look at him, closes up to the rear bumper.
AJ Allmendinger in that 16 car, he is a road racer. He knows how to do it, and braking is so important in that discipline. At this racetrack, it's huge as well. You can drive that car way down in the corner. There's tons of speed to be had. Look at him. Look at that. All the distance is made up on corner entry.
Very similar situation that AJ was in with Austin Cindric, where he can get to this particular point.
There you go, you're there.
Now he's in a situation where he can clear up, take away that line, just like that. Take away Jeb's exit. Thought maybe with a teammate he might not do that, but took advantage of it.
Jeb needs to know Haley's out there. So easy to get in the corner and get out of the groove here, and when you do, there is no grip whatsoever.
Dylan, what you got on our leader, the 16?
Well, he's certainly driven up through here and made a nice move there to take the lead. But he was talking about how when he raced all his Cup races here, he's a veteran of 19 Cup starts, how they didn't have the PJ1 traction compound laid down. So they were pretty excited that they weren't going to have it on the racing surface today. Felt like that was going to play into their suits for AJ, who is obviously a very precise, very calculated race car driver with all of his road course experience. That's how you have to be. You don't have the advantage of the PJ1, the sticky stuff kind of catching you and masking mistakes if you overdrive the corner or anything like that. So being precise, hitting your marks consistently at lap after lap, something you have to do on road courses. He's very good there. They expected it to translate today, and so far it has, as Allmendinger leads.
First to ninth in one screen, all on the front stretch. You saw the 54 there of Bell go 3 wide on Allgaier.
Pretty amazing watching Christopher Bell and his teammate Hemrick come through the field. The 54 and the 18 right there in your screen. And Harrison Burton as well. I mean, Harrison also in a Gibbs car. Looks like all three of these guys have great pace. Right up front, though, Justin Haley's not letting A.J. Allmendinger get away. Justin's been running a different line, a little bit higher through the corner, making that work. A.J.'s car looks like it's lacking a little bit of rear grip. Austin Cindric still sitting right here in a great position. Oh, that's tight. These guys work around the 52 car, Spencer Boyd. Spencer has not raced in this series since 2018.
As we see, the competition caution should be coming out at any point here, but you're going to race all the way to it. Any spot you get, you'll keep.
There's the caution
Yellow,
right there.
Yellow.
Now the question is, what do these guys do 20 laps into the race? They come in and almost waste a set of tires.
So I think there's really two options. The easy option, the option I would take, is you stay out here, you race to the end of the stage, you get you some stage points, and you just kind of go forward from there. The gamble is you can come put a set of tires on now, stay out at the end of the stage, and then try to pit again at the end of stage 2, maybe get a little track position. As good as the racing is, though, I think you want to stick with the pack.
You know, without racing on this track for so long with no traction compound, there's no way these cars are driving well. There's no way they guessed on the setup. So do they feel like they can make the car better here? Is it worth getting on pit road? That's the question, Steve.
Download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring, in-car cameras, and radio broadcast. Upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and a completely ads-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial today. Maybe you'll know what these teams are going to do before we do.
Yeah, could be. I sit at home and I listen. I love it. I know what I get to talk about on Motor Mouse Monday and Wednesday when I hear which drivers are screaming about what. It gives me good content.
Let's find out what crew chiefs are screaming right now. Anybody gonna come down pit road?
Looks like none of the leaders are looking to pit, and I mean, that's probably the call to make. I think some guys might come down pit road to work on the race cars, but here comes a few cars down pit road to make a few adjustments under this yellow. We'll be back at New Hampshire after the break. Welcome back to beautiful New England and the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This is the racing team broadcast. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton here up in the booth, but we got a few other race car drivers here. Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, you guys are down on the track. What are you seeing?
You know what? I'm seeing a New Hampshire race
Yeah.
where you can get position on someone, but you can't
you can't close. We saw the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger get position on Cindric time after time. Finally, he got by him, but it's so hard. You have to be patient, just like we talked in pre-race. You've got to be patient to get around someone.
Yeah, and Jeff Burton did a great job of getting out there, but he might have run a little bit hard. You could tell he had some handling issues then. But how about the rest of these guys coming? Hemrick and Christopher Bell, and these guys come up, Harrison Burton there. This is an outstanding race to watch from here and see how hard these drivers are working.
Yeah, listen, it's amazing to watch you guys on TV up there. I'm having a great time, but now you've drugged me out here to have to talk with Dale on pit road where I can't hear anything because all these cars are behind me. So, Junior, I'm going to throw it back up to you, man.
You got it, man. We love having those guys at the racetrack.
You mentioned it, Junior, first time of the choose rule. Well, here you go.
Yeah, pretty interesting to understand that this is the first time this series and the Cup Series will have the choose rule at this racetrack. And we all have a different opinion on where the outside or the inside is the line to be in. And I think the outside's where you want to be.
Historically here, Junior, that inside lane on the launch has not had good grip. You enter turn 1, 2, 3 car lengths behind the guy on the outside. Let's see what it is today.
Oh, that 98 of Herbst is into the wall.
Bunch of cars with damage. That's something else you see at this racetrack a lot. Lot of power-ups on restarts here.
Big checkups on the starts, an accordion effect that ripples through the field.
We were just talking about the opportunity for Riley Herbst today with a net out. Needed to score some points, and here he is, spun around on a start.
We're going to have to see what other cars were impacted by this. We got a lot of cars right there. The 19 of Brandon Jones has got heavy damage to the front.
Look at that. Can't see anything.
Let's take a look at this and see how all this started. Some people going right there, but the field's not taken off yet. The leaders haven't gone, so that has an accordion effect. A lot of guys getting on the brakes, guys behind them going, smacking in the back end.
So here you go. You see these guys in the back. They're trying to lay back and get a run.
Yep.
And you mentioned it. It's the accordion effect. You can't see 2 or 3 cars in front of you either. So see, they lay back, and then they start to get a run. The front lane's not moving, and they all pile into each other.
We didn't even see it, or I didn't see it on the first replay. Not only the 19, but the 8 of Sam Mayer. Heavy damage as well.
So check this out. Watch what's going on. So see this row, the 4th row, 5th row, they're all laid back, trying to get a good run. The 3rd row, Jeb, they all start moving, and then it stops. And so the 8th, 9th, 10th row, you can't see what's going on in the 4th row, and you just pile into them.
Who actually did a great job there is Brett Moffitt. I thought he was going to make contact with the 7, and he didn't. Oh, this would be a great view.
Look, you have no idea they're checking up.
Yeah.
You have absolutely no idea. And that view right there is on the roof. Imagine seeing it from your eyes. It's even lower.
Ready. Real slow. Green. Easy now.
That's all it takes. You just get into the guy in front of you a little bit, and the guy behind you can't get slowed down, and around you go. This happens more on racetracks, Junior, with long straights rather than triovals.
Yeah.
Like on a trioval like Charlotte or Atlanta, there's a bend on the front straightaway. You can see around it and see the cars in front of you. But a place like here, Indianapolis, you cannot see at all, and that's where these wrecks happen.
Great work by the 8 team. That car looks, I mean, much better than I thought it would to get that hood down. Let's take a look right here. So all the way up at the top of your screen, look at this 0-2. I want you to focus on him. So as we roll it forward, as they stack up, so easily he could have ran into the back of the 7, but he sees it, gets on the brakes, and actually turns left a little bit like he's on the interstate, right? You don't want to get rear-ended. The 98, I think, does a nice job as well. It's behind him, as you said it. The 19 cannot see. He spits the 98 out of line. So I talked about how it's a disappointing day for poor Riley Herbst, doing nothing wrong, actually just staying out of the back of the 0-2. But I thought Brett Moffitt could have easily knocked the nose off that car, so did a nice job, a heads-up job between Spotter and crew chief. And I hate this for Riley Herbst. I mean, I just don't know what he could have done any different, Jeff.
Yeah, that's just a tough deal for Riley. And you said in that point battle, Marty, what they got going on down there?
Well, they're trying to fix the damage for Riley Herbst and also for Brandon Jones, who came down pit road. Here's the disadvantage of only having 3 sets of tires sitting here on pit lane, Steve. If you're the crew chief, you really don't have the advantage of putting on a new set of tires here. You've got to save that for the end of stage one, which is going to come up very quickly with this long caution. Already only 17 to go in this stage, so drivers are just going to have to limp it around for the rest of the stage and then finally get new Goodyears at the end of the stage. But it does appear all this damage fixable for both Riley Herbst and for Brandon Jones.
Yeah, I think the tough thing for Herbst is he's going toward the back of the field. Hopefully the damage is minimal. There you see they're doing a nice little trick that we learned there, Steve, where you drop the car down on this block here, and it helps bend that splitter back up. They feel like that splitter has been moved down some. You don't want that to make contact with the racetrack. It'll take all the front grip out of the car. They're going to try to repair that by dropping it, simply dropping it on top of this block. So if they can get that fixed and repaired, he still has a chance to come back and get a reasonable finish. But what he's going to miss out on is all these opportunities at stage points. Dylan, what you got on the 7?
Well, Junior, you guys were talking about how difficult it was to see, or how difficult it can be to see the leaders on a track like this during restarts. Take a listen to Justin Allgaier's perspective.
Cannot see the leader, so that's part of the issue I got is I can't tell. Like I know what you're telling me, but like I can't see anything more than like 2 rows in front of me. So I could not see the front row and when they fired or they didn't fire.
Gone until I see the world leader launch.
So that was his communication with spotter Eddie DeHaan, just about trying to gauge when the leader's going to go so you don't have a stack up like this, because spotter can say go, but if the leader's not going, that's when you have incidents like what we just had there.
He's got some damage on his right front there. That's not going to help his car. That's going to take downforce off the front of his car, Steve. It's not going to drive as well.
And that's made this sprint to the end of stage one even shorter. 16 to be 15 laps to go.
Look at the choose this time. Harrison Burton was running 4th. He's all the way sitting there in second on the bottom of the racetrack.
Clean start this time.
Harrison's making that bottom work.
Oh, he's wanting to hear clear. He just didn't quite hear it. Cindric was 2 inches further up than Harrison wanted him to be.
And now Cindric has a position. He can sort of find that 20 car up, but great center of the corner by Harrison. Cindric just struggling right there to the exit. Cindric trying to battle back on the outside here. The 54, Christopher Bell, he's going to make that happen. Got to maintain that position. Christopher Bell's not going to give up. Dives down low right next to the apron. Look at this car turn and roll the center.
I feel like I'm watching Tony Stewart from about 15 years ago, right, Jeff? That was the Tony Stewart line.
Yes.
That was impressive from that 54.
The advantage Tony Stewart has, the racetrack right there had the same amount of banking as where Cindric is. Back when Tony Stewart was doing it. Today, Christopher Bell is trying to do it with less banking on the corner.
Cindric struggling on corner exit, almost into the fence.
Christopher's going to drive it deep in the corner. Does not slide up the racetrack, but still tons of grip on the bottom.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that car is getting through the middle so good. Not anyone else is doing that in the middle of the corner right there, I don't believe.
And Christopher Bell ran the fastest lap on the racetrack that time, running that groove. Let's see if he moves up. Harrison's way up the racetrack, been trying to run that groove.
As we ride on board with Cindric, this is a perfect example. You guys talk about where that 54 was so good. You kind of get a judgment because he leaves the front bumper of the poor 22. Now the 18 says, oh, I could drive in that deep. Now Bine doesn't turn quite as good as he slides up in front of the 11.
You won't miss any of this action as we go on nonstop. Great battle for the lead here in the Xfinity race. Harrison Burton has caught A.J. Allmendinger to the inside. Right there behind him, Christopher Bell.
That thing was sideways off the corner. Christopher Bell is going to fill that hole on the outside. So much, that's what we keep talking about, Junior. The bottom of the racetrack just does not have the grip.
That gives AJ just a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room. Look at Harrison. One little bobble, and you sort of get off your game, off your repetition. This track's such about repetition, doing the same thing over and over. One little mistake, you kind of get off of that. Takes you a little bit to get back in a rhythm.
That 54 is crazy fast.
I confirm. Fact. 54, crazy fast.
He is. That thing gets through the middle of the corner, and that's the one thing at this racetrack that if you said, okay, driver, you get to pick one thing that you want, that you need. It's the car to turn right in the middle of the corner, and his is doing that better than anybody. AJ into the fence off of turn 4.
Yeah,
wiggles
driver,
the car.
That's the toughest thing to make it to do. I don't want you to pick that. I want you to pick something else.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing to do.
Hey, I needed to turn in the middle and also make her a grip. Just give me both of that, and I'll do it. So watch right here. Watch Christopher Bell. He's going to drive to the bottom of the racetrack, all the way to the white line. Now, lower grip. How can I carry this speed through the center of the corner? That's the easy part. Here is where it gets difficult on that corner exit. The car is not wanting to turn. It's not wanting the rear grip. He knows he's faster than the 16. But how is he ever going to pass him? That's where the challenge comes here.
I think AJ has to race him hard, too, because AJ knows that it's a short race. That could be the pass for the lead. I know it sounds crazy this early in the event, but that could be it. You let that 54 out front, he's going to be hard to get back around.
Not to mention in 2 laps, he has a chance to win a playoff point. Win this stage, get one more playoff point, add to his total. And if you're the 54 Christopher Bell, you're selfishly wanting the lead, but you can help your teammate Harrison Burton out by making sure Allmendinger doesn't get a playoff point. They'll be racing for a championship later in the season.
Look at Cindric. He's joined this fight. He was quite a ways back a little while ago. Now he's right on the back of Harrison. It's funny watching these cars. You know, one car will be good for a little bit, then the other one's good.
Now this 54 has position at the end of the back straightaway. Slides up a little bit in the middle of the corner. Not quite clearing. Now AJ back on the outside down the front straightaway. White flag in stage 1. Christopher Bell trying to take the lead away from A.J. Allmendinger through turn 2. He does it. The 54 is clear. A.J. going back to the inside here. Oh, we got cars in the wall. Caution is out.
Looks like the 44 of Tommy Joe Martin and the 47 of Kyle Weatherman were in the wall. Christopher Bell, I think, will win that stage.
You can see contact into turn 1. Both drivers did a great job to keep from having their cars absolutely destroyed.
Tomorrow on NBC, the final round of the 149th Open Championship from Royal St. George's Golf Club along the eastern English seaside. Coverage begins 7 a.m. Eastern.
7 a.m., 2 cups of coffee in. I'll be up to see if Louis Oosthuizen can protect his one-shot lead. Set a 36-hole scoring record. Continues to lead through the third round. He's got 1 shot on Colin Morikawa. 3 shots on Jordan Spieth. Spieth was close. He faltered a little there at the end, but I know you give me that look. You won't be up to watch.
I don't know if I'll be
7
up better.
a.m. Well, you catch the leaders second half, right before we go green.
All right. So the field's rolling through turns 3 and 4 here. Pit road is open. Going to see everybody come down pit road, get that first set of tires. Dylan.
A.J. Allmendinger will pit from the second spot. Crew told him to stop short in his box to make sure he can get a nice clean exit. Said that he's a little bit free laterally, and where those Joe Gibbs Toyotas are beating him is they can roll the center of the corner better. They've got better drive off, so they're going to make an adjustment. Looks like just air pressure to try to get the 16. Rolling the center a little bit better, Marty.
Dylan third in stage 1 for Harrison Burton, who said he needs a little more lateral grip on entry and exit, but the center is pretty good. He wanted updates on where Christopher Bell was running. So did everybody else in the field. Bell wins stage 1. Very impressive run for him from 15th to the lead. He said he's tight on entry and through the center, but a lot looser that run on exit. They'll easily win the race off pit road. He also said he had a little wheel chatter when he was getting on the brakes. We'll keep an eye on that for the 54 for the rest of the race.
Great job by Jeff Burton.
And the 20 of Harrison Burton, you see -7 spots. Well, it wasn't the pit stop, Junior. It was after the pit stop right here. Harrison tries to get out. 26 pitting in front of him, comes in with an angle, just couldn't get the 20 out of the pit box.
NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit gocreditone.com. And by Ford, built Ford proud. Some amazing news this week in the world of NASCAR. Moving on to the Cup Series next year, Harrison Burton, he's going to drive for the famed Wood Brothers, that number 21 car, and Austin Cindric is going to drive that famous number 2 for Roger Penske. We got Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett down there, guys. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, great opportunity for these 2 young drivers, and I think it just shows that this Xfinity Series is doing exactly what it was designed to do. You get good opportunity here, you go win races, do your job, prove what you're made of, and then you get that opportunity in really good cars. So they're driving basically for Roger Penske in both, but Harrison Burton for the Wood Brothers. We both got our starts there, or got our first wins with the Wood Brothers, so hopefully Harrison can move on and do that too.
Yeah, here's the deal. When Roger Penske or the Wood brothers call, you listen. You listen. That's what I'm going to throw some Richard Petty logic on you here, or some knowledge on you. He always said, if you want to be a Cup driver and you can get the Cup, go there and learn. And I think that's what Roger Penske is doing with this organization, or with Cindric. I think that's what the Wood brothers look at Harrison Burton. And we know that's what Rick Hendrick thought when he moved William Byron up. Get to Cup as fast as you can. Learn to race against the best in the business. Learn on Cup tracks and become a Cup driver. These two guys are going to be stars of the future, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so too, and they're showing just how good of drivers they are on this difficult racetrack out here this afternoon, Junior.
Look like Brandon Jones and his team are pushing his car back to the garage. 19 may be done for the day. Coming to the green flag. Got Brandon Brown and Joe Graff Jr. is going to control the field here. They pitted on lap 22. Green flag is out. Brandon Brown clear down into turn 1. They're going to split Joe Graff 3 wide. It's a tough position to be in. A.J. Allmendinger to the inside of Brandon Brown down the back straightaway. Christopher Bell is going to follow him through.
Two and three wide back here, trying to find a lane through the corner. I like what DJ was saying there about young drivers moving up and trying to get at the Cup as soon as possible. With that new car coming, Junior, I just think that's going to help guys like Cindric and Harrison.
Brandon Brown is the guy who's trying to get as many points as he can today, trying to work himself back into the championship situation. What's the call today? Him coming in at lap 22 and staying out on this last caution.
Fight for that track position, right? Where he runs around that playoff battle. Playoff points are gold. We don't see a lot of playoff points 12th to 14th in the standings. So if he could somehow stay in the top 10, but it is going to be a tall order as he's attacked by the 11 of Justin Haley on the outside.
And the one bad thing about that is you put yourself in a bad situation with a little bit older tire, and everybody's faster than you. His car is not quite as good anyway. He's got to be careful not to get run over.
Battle up front here. We've seen this before. Christopher Bell trying to work his way around the 16 car of A.J. Allmendinger down the back straightaway. Christopher trying to outbrake him down into the corner.
Oh, you mentioned bad positions. That 68 has me nervous. 3 wide into the corner.
Christopher Bell up top there, all clear out into the lead early here in stage 2. Is that battle below? Brandon Brown slipping through the field, creating a lot of situations for these guys right here, 3 wide with Mike Snyder.
And now the 68 Junior stuck with this strategy because you can't, unlike the Cup Series, you just don't have enough tires. You can't put them on now, so he's going to have to live with this all the way to the end of this stage to be kind of even up with tires with everyone else.
Is there any kind of situation late in the race where that set of tires may be an advantage? I just can't imagine so with so many cars on the lead lap.
Well, I think he already put them on there in the middle or early in stage 1, so he's burned them. He doesn't have a set, but I agree, even if you saved them, you can't drive through the whole field. We see right here the 20 of Harrison Burton after being stuck in his pit stall, Marty. He's trying to overcome it a little bit. Still looks very loose in there on the bottom of the racetrack, the 1 of Josh Berry.
Yeah, I got a couple of drivers coming up after some rough stops. Harrison Burton, Josh Berry among them. So Josh Berry started 21st, made his way into the top 10. An impressive run for him on that first run. Then they had a bad stop. Now he's having to work his way back through the field once again, and the same for Harrison Burton. And Jeff, nobody knows better than you, the 4-time winner here in the Cup Series. It's tough to pass once you lose that track position here in New Hampshire.
It's such a difficult thing, but you see right there, Josh Berry just trying to use all the racetrack underneath that 68. Kind of put Brandon in a tough situation, but he's got to have that spot.
Got some audio from Harrison Burton. Let's listen in.
Man, my pit box was complete ice, man. I know we had it in our report, and I screwed up. I was just saying, that's why I slipped through it so much. Yeah, you gotta believe me, man. When I tell you, we'll get it next time.
So we got a great replay. He said his pit box was like ice. Jeff, you and I talked about it. He got blocked in, but the mistake was made on entry. The 20 knew someone was going to come around him. He has to get pointed out right here. All the tires lock up. You see front and rear, and it actually turns the car the exact wrong way. That put him in the bad position. So while it looks like the mistake was on exit, the mistake was made purely entering his pit box. He has to be kind of mindful of that in the future and get turned out, Marty, so he can get out cleanly.
Yeah, nice battle between Myatt and Harrison right there, trying to get another spot inside the top 10. So, Steve, they had a long conversation with Jason Ratcliffe and Harrison Burton right before that about trying to stop short in the stall. There's a piece of tape in everybody's stall where you want to put the sign. So if you're Jason Ratcliffe, Steve, do you now move that tape back to say, hey, we're going to move even further back in the stall, knowing how slick it is for you?
Well, I would make adjustments, but Harrison has to make adjustments, and that's part of learning as a race car driver, and that's the second half of the conversation, right? As we see the other half of the big news, Austin Cindric in the 22, passing A.J. Allmendinger for second. Junior, you did it. Back-to-back Xfinity championships, jumped the cup. Racing on Sundays, the pressure is real. How much more is the pressure for someone like Austin Cindric getting into that 2-car?
Well, I think that he has the confidence to handle that pressure. He's got a ton of support around that organization. I think the one thing for these drivers that go into the Cup Series is the level of work. The workload goes up. You're going to race more. You're going to be expected to do more outside of the car during the week. I think the Xfinity Series responsibilities may be quite less than what they are for a Cup driver. So you've got to be ready to do that work. It's not all about just getting behind the wheel. I mean, tons of responsibilities, requests, things you're going to have to do for the race team and so forth. And it's going to wear you out. I think my first year, I was burned out. I was toast with about 10, 12 races to go in the season.
Yeah.
Mentally, I couldn't handle it. Great battle right here between these guys.
It's a crazy battle. So, Jeff, I know you have to be a proud dad. First of all, congratulations for Harrison. But as a veteran, what are you telling your son about just that? When he said he was exhausted, you were shaking your head. You knew how long that Cup Series is.
Yeah, catch your breath, buddy, because it's going to be hard. I mean, it is. Listen, man, it's the best. Sunday is just 3 to 4 times harder than Saturdays. I mean, it just simply is, and you got to work harder to be as good as those guys, and then the schedule is much tougher. The races are longer. Physically, it's demanding. Mentally, it's demanding.
Great battles all over the racetrack here. Austin Cindric in second place. Cindric trying to chase down Christopher Bell. Go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $2.99 per month. Listen in on pit strategies, spotter communication, crew chief calls, and hear what your favorite driver has to say during the race. Log into the app to use on mobile devices. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner to start your subscription today. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing. Ambetter Get Vaccinated 200. Great battling here. Riley Hurst right here on the in-car camera.
Trying to recover from that accident on the front stretch. They did some repairs to this car, and he is working on this 51 of Jeremy Clements.
Jeremy right on the outside edge of the groove. And I know this sounds easy to say, but sometimes you've got to lean on that guy a little bit. Shove him just beyond that point. Take that position away or take that line away.
Which is what Riley Herbst did right there. He drove in the corner and drifted up the racetrack. Said, hey, if you're going to stay on the outside of me, I'm going to carry you into the third or fourth groove where there's no grip. You're going to lift, or that's where you're going, Marty.
And Jeff, after that accident on the restart, nice recovery for this 98 team and Riley Herbst. This is the battle for the 16th position, which Riley just got from the 51. And you talk about teams on the opposite end of the spectrum. Riley right now below the cut line. Jeremy Clements just above the cut line. So I think there's a lot to fight for. More than just 16th. A lot of points on the line for both of these guys today.
Daniel Hamrick on the inside of A.J. Allmendinger as Allmendinger continues to struggle to maintain that track position, losing the lead, and now second place to Cindric. Here he's about to lose another position. Let's listen to the 16 car.
If he drives in far, either way it slips the right rear tire, you know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the way I'm driving in. I know you guys want to think that's what it is, but our ride quality's so rough, and she's shaking the back tire. Like it just, there's no lateral, nothing to lean on.
Okay, so what I'm hearing A.J. Allmendinger say is, look, you're giving me input from a driver standpoint. You're thinking I need to do something different. And what I'm telling you is the car needs to be better. If changing my driving style is not going to fix the trouble with the car, the ride quality in the back of the car is not good enough and the rear tires are shaking, I need that to go away for me to drive the way you want me to drive.
I hear you, but when you say ride quality, I just don't know what adjustment I have during the pit. I got to be honest with you, but like, Junior, I think I made some wrong decisions, but I can't get out of them now, buddy. Like, ride quality you're going to have for the last 128 laps, Dylan. I'm just not sure what I can do to this 16 car to improve the way it rides.
And that's exactly it, Steve. So AJ just came on after that radio transmission that you heard and said this adjustment that we made was not the right one. So the biggest thing is he said all afternoon long that the JGR cars have is so much more lateral grip, which allows them to turn down the hill. So AJ's struggling so bad on corner entry with that rear tire chatter that no matter what he tries, it's just not enough right now to keep up with those Toyotas. So it's a challenge, a struggle for sure, but they're going to try to get it dialed in here on the next pit stop as they still try to hang on to a top 5 spot, Marty.
Boy, a fun 3-car battle for the 3rd position, and Daniel Hamrick trying to get it from A.J. Allmendinger. I spent some time with Daniel Hamrick this morning, and I kind of asked him about this type of racetrack. You know, he grew up short track racing. He's raced on a million short flat tracks, but he told me for some reason the Xfinity Series, this has been the toughest discipline for me to understand and for me to process and be good at. So A.J. right now trying to hold on to that 3rd spot above Daniel Hamrick. Dylan?
And Marty, Brandon Jones, we saw him have issues on that restart mashup there a few laps ago at the end of near stage 1. So he's back in the garage right now with some more issues. So the nose got caved into the radiator, which is what the crew is working on right now. Brandon's still in the car, is all suited up, doesn't have his helmet off or anything. So they're trying to make repairs to get him back out. And as we've seen countless times before, all the points matter. Doesn't matter how many laps down you are. It comes down to maybe just a couple at the end of the regular season or the end of the season when all of those are tallied up. So they're going to try to get the 19 car fixed and get Brandon out to make a few more laps here to finish this one off.
So back to the 16 car of A.J. Allmendinger. Steve, I'm going to tell you a secret. So we're not always telling you something thinking you can fix it, but we're telling you what we're dealing with. Right? So there may not be a fix for chattering the rear tires, for bouncing the rear tires, but I got to tell you why I'm not going the direction you want me going in. Right? This is the issue I'm having. It's why I can't go as fast as you want me to go.
And maybe I could crutch it. I can't fix it, but okay, if that's what you're dealing with, maybe I have an adjustment that you can at least drive around it. Make a little bit sort of an adjustment. We mentioned the one, Michael Annett out, Josh Berry in it. Another car Josh Berry has driven a few times this year, as multiple drivers has been in it. It's the 31 here. Jordan Anderson, the owner, driver in it today. Think all the way back at Daytona. Weather came in, 31, was unable to make that race because of the weather situation and the qualifying rules. He wanted to be the driver owner all year long. Well, he's really done a nice job of finding drivers to build this car up at points. Tyler Reddick has run it 3 times, Josh Berry 3 times. Jordan's been in it a couple times. We've seen Kaz Grala in it. I think Jordan Anderson, great little race car driver, fun to watch, but his business sense of putting these other drivers in that 31, Jeff, I like his approach as a team owner.
Yeah, I do too. And remember, he's done a really nice job of putting quality drivers in. And when he drives it, he says, look, I got to take care of my equipment. I got to move it along. Be a smart team owner. See that 66 car, David Starr behind him. Longtime veteran.
And the 31, run at 20th, right? When you look at the equipment, the experience, no dents on the race car, pretty solid.
14th place right here, the 26 of Brandon Godovic. He's got only 5 races in the East Series, but his first Xfinity start here. Pretty good day by this team right here, right behind Brandon Brown. We're going to NASCAR nonstop. You're not going to miss any of this battle right here. Back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the battles for A.J. Allmendinger continue. Now under attack from this 7 car, Justin Allgaier.
I know enough that doesn't make the rear chatter better. When there's another guy right on your rear bumper, that is definitely not helping rear security.
The calling cars come out of the gate so quickly. All 3 of them up front, battling up toward the front, and now slipping through this field as we get further into this race, and this racetrack continues to change. Let's get to the 16 radio and see if we get an update.
Do something to help you in the rear. I'm so tired of driving sideways. Frankie, we can't do nothing right now, so if you two want to talk about how bad it is and continue to talk about it, ain't nothing we can do right this second. You can either just talk about how positive he is he's running 3rd, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing we can do right this second.
Oh, he slips up out of the groove, and I think that's actually off channel 1, which is where the driver's at. He's talking to the crew chief saying, hey, you can tell him just to hang in there and drive it until we can actually get on the pit road and work on this race car.
Well, I think one of the signatures of Colleague Racing, Chris Rice has been there since the inception. And the crew chiefs there are all younger crew chiefs, new in their career. That's Chris Rice kind of coaching them all along. Like, hey, look, you got to be a crew chief, which means you need to know the car, but I also need you to be a leader. So help your driver out, Jeff. You're telling me what you're fighting. AJ's not making this up. So I need you to let me somehow find a way to tell him, buddy, we need you to fight. We need you to, in your own words, get us to the pit stop because I can't help you out here.
What's the goal? The goal is to get the best stage finish you can get. It's not where you're going to finish in a race right now. It's one goal at a time, and that's finish this stage with 3 to go the best you possibly can, and then we'll work on the car. He's driving it, man. He's giving them all they got. There's no question. You can see the car sideways.
2 laps to go. 2 laps to go in the stage. Here you see it. 92 car of Williams trying to get out of the way from these guys. Gives them plenty of room. Christopher Bell over a 3-second lead over Austin Cindric. He comes off of turn 4 to get the white flag. These guys down here at the bottom of the screen continue to battle. Look how close AJ's going to run that 16 down the straightaway.
So Allgaier in that 7 car, he's going to try to get right to that bumper, take some air off that rear spoiler. He can see the 16 car is loose, wants to make it even looser.
AJ's doing what he needs to do to exit the corner as good as he possibly can so that he knows he can defend that position. So smart, such a veteran driver. Christopher Bell is going to win this stage. Austin Cindric comes home second. Allmendinger fights hard for that 4th place. He'll need that crew to make those adjustments, hopefully to improve that car. But Christopher Bell, his 54 car, we thought he was going to be tough. Drove through the field, won stage 1. Now he's dominated stage 2. Christopher Bell, who can beat? Back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, pit road is open at the end of stage 2. The field rounding turn 3 and 4. Guys are coming to the pit road entrance. We're going to see everybody. Those lap cars right there, Dylan.
And into stage 2 pit stops underway. And again, AJ Allmendinger very vocal on the radio, not very happy with his race car. No lateral grip, super sideways in the corner. They're going to put a wrench in the back window to try to get him dialed in a little bit better. Austin Cindric in the middle of your screen, fairly happy with his race car. A little free on entry. Wants some more front turn behind the wheel of that Ford Mustang, Marty.
Daniel Hemrick said 3 and 4 is where the 54 is beating us the most. If it's too tight when I get back to the gas. He told his crew, if you can keep my track position, we can win this race. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell said he was much looser that run. Chris Scale told him, he said, I think that's more track than the car, so we're not going to make a big adjustment here. 54 easily holds serve here on pit road. Hemrick gains a spot.
Christopher Bell off pit road first. Hemrick gains a spot. Allgaier up a spot. Moffitt +6 for 10th. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Cup Series will take its turn on the track here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Race coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. August 8th, Sunday, we got a pretty cool event, the IndyCar race at Nashville. Music City Grand Prix is coming up. We got two superstars. You're going to tell us all about it.
I can't walk the streets of Nashville without thinking of legends like Johnny Cash, Loretta Lynn,
Mario Andretti. Hello, Cheryl Crow.
Mario, what are you doing here?
Cheryl, haven't you heard? IndyCar's coming to the streets of Nashville.
Mario, that is music to my ears.
Mine too.
Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, August 8th on NBCSN.
It's gonna get loud.
Mario, I love loud.
August 8th, big day of racing. Cup Series at Watkins Glen, and followed up with the IndyCar Big Machine Music Grand Prix, the streets of Nashville, across the bridge. Across the bridge, that's as awesome as it gets.
Yes, pretty incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a race, or there has ever been a race that goes over a body of water, but that's going to be one to watch. So, guys, this has been a pretty interesting race. The action was great right at the drop of the green flag. What do you think?
Well, I think the difference is the action was great, but the stages are over. Now it's a long run. So you guys talked about guys that were good on long runs versus short runs. What kind of race are we going to get? Are we going to get some yellows, or can we get a 100-lap green flag run? We've seen both types of races here.
Well, we've seen tons of action on the restarts. We've seen track position gained and lost. So right now, this restart could set you up to win or lose the race. So it's going to be very important to get a great launch and then sail into turn one and make some grip, make some stuff happen.
Yeah, with the choose cone or the choose rule, you get to kind of at least have a little bit of control over where you're going to line up on these restarts and maybe put yourself in a situation to have an advantage. That's something new here at this racetrack this year. They didn't have that rule in effect when the Cup Series came here last year, so that'll be fun to watch tomorrow as well.
And we talked a lot about the 31 aboard. Jordan Anderson's getting pushed down pit road by a wrecker. We'll have to see what they do when they service the car here. Oh, taking the left rear tire off. That has the look of a battery. Yep, you see the crew member right here going in. He's going to change the battery. The battery storage location is right in front of the left rear tire. So that's kind of the spot they have to fix. All right, Junior, you talked about the choose rule. Let's see what everybody decides here.
I like the outside. Seems to launch a lot better. Looks like that's where Christopher Bell's going to go. His teammate, he's going to take the outside as well. He likes that. Justin Allgaier in third says, all right, I'll take this inside line all the way up to the front.
Harrison goes to the outside there, back in row 5. Still trying to recover from getting stuck in the pits. Did a better job that time, though. Got in and out clean. Dylan.
And we're talking about Noah Gregson, or you see him there making his choose line choice. So they've been off the pace a little bit today. Have had some handling issues, and Noah was trying to diagnose and self-medicate that race car with the front brake bias and put a lot of that brake bias in. But then when they came in to make these stops at the end of stage 2, he'd forgotten to put it back to neutral and slid the front tires and nosed into the pit wall nearly. So a slow stop cost them a lot of time there, dropped them down to the 17th spot with a lot of ground to make up, Marty.
Coming green, Dylan, keep your eye on Josh Berry, who told me this morning New Hampshire reminds him of a big Martinsville. Good stop this time for the 1 bunch. He'll restart 6th.
How does he know? He's never raced here.
That's what I was thinking.
He raced K&N one time, Junior.
Oh, that's right. He did run K&N here. Okay, he's got some good experience. Guys rolling through turn 4, coming up to the Geico restart zone. Let's see who can get that launch. A lot of bumping and banging on that outside line. Pretty good start for the inside row with Justin Allgaier, but just can't get down in the corner as deep as that 54 car does. He will come off of turn 2 in 2nd place, so that's something to think about for these guys tomorrow in the Cup Series. Such a good sound. Carter's going down the front straightaway into turn 1.
10. That blue number 10 of Jeb Burton just still seems to be struggling with rear grip. Can't quite get the power down. Myatt Snyder. Crosley number 2, that red car just underneath him.
Always found it so hard to get traction and grip side by on restarts, new tires. You see the 2 car having troubles. Coming through turn 4, it's going to allow Harrison Burton to maybe get around both these guys. It takes the tires several corners before they kind of come in and grip up and allow you to be able to really lean on that car.
Yeah, nice move by Harrison, as you pointed out. 2 spots and 1 set of corners. Now Noah's kind of stuck on the bottom. Going to be very careful.
Really, really good job of a rebound for this 98 car. It's right on board of Riley Herbst, the pit boss camera. He's being really patient, cutting those guys in front of him a break. They've done some good repairs on that car. The battle for 2nd place is heated up. Hemrick to the inside of the 7 car, Justin Allgaier to the center of turns 1 and 2. Off corner exit here.
Allgaier is going to get in the bottom, not going to pinch him off, knowing that right here, the exit of the corner, he's going to have more grip than Hemrick. Just kind of gives it up on corner entry. Says, you know what? I don't think you're going to be able to pass me on the bottom. I'm going to give it to you. Dylan.
You know, guys, this track is pretty unique. There's not a lot of tracks that are comparable from a setup perspective to getting a car working around this racetrack. But for Justin Allgaier, Jason Burdett, his crew chief, that felt like that was a positive for them. You know, Burdett kind of made the comment that they've been pretty good generally at some of the more oddball racetracks. You know, a worn out old surface like Atlanta, they're always strong there. A place like Dover, they're always really fast. This is another kind of one of those unique racetracks that they felt like has been good to them in the past. It has been good to them in the past. They were confident today, too, that even with all the unknowns, with the absence of the traction compound, didn't really know what direction to go with the race car, but they felt like they were going to be in the ballpark regardless. They worked on this race car, tuned on it throughout each of these stages, and now they're right within striking distance. Don't know what they've got for the 54, but maybe best in show for right now for the 7 car.
This track, you know, at one point used to be somewhat relatable to Phoenix, the flat end of Phoenix, but ever since they resurfaced Phoenix and reconfigured it, I just don't kind of put them in the same category as much anymore.
Yeah, I don't either, Steve, but we hear a lot of teams talk about, you know, this is my last chance to gauge myself for Phoenix. They're 1 mile racetracks, but they sure, I mean, 1 and 2 at Phoenix is like nothing. It certainly can't be like this. If anything, 3 and 4 at Phoenix would be, I'm sorry, 1 and 2 at Phoenix would be more like this than 3 and 4 would.
Well, I guess if you run good, you're going to go, you know, hey, this is going to be great. That should be good at Phoenix. And if you run bad, you can go, well, this place is nothing like Phoenix.
Nothing like it. Nothing at all.
Look at that 39 car of Sieg. Really pinched off Riley Herbst getting into 3. Really put Herbst in a bad position right there. Marty, what do you have on Riley?
I was talking to Richard Boswell, the crew chief for this race team earlier today, and we were chatting about the fact that, you know, all year long, this team has run in the top 10 for the majority of a race or portions of a race, and they couldn't finish there. So Steve, what kind of a shot in the arm would it be for this race team as he tries to go 3 wide right here? For them to have trouble early in the race, yet come back and maybe finish in the top 10, that'd be a huge shot in the arm to this young driver.
A huge shot in the arm and a little bit different signature. I think that's where Riley, I think if you go back and start this year over again with the SHR Fords, it would be a little patient earlier. I think he tried a little too hard too early, made some mistakes. Easier to said once it's over, but if he could go back and redo the first third of this year, I think he could just be a little more patient.
Yeah, listen, he went into the car that had so much success last year, right? And that pressure is immediately on, but with no practice, right? Every driver needs a little something different. And I think he just had so much enthusiasm, just trying a little bit too hard. They're starting to get their footing a little bit now and just having more consistent runs.
Doing a nice job. He's continue to try to battle this 39 of Ryan Sieg for 13th.
Now he's on the outside on corner exit. Sieg's going to give him that room. Sieg doing a great job. Oh, Riley's trying to keep him tight down on that inside, and Sieg did a good job not getting in his left rear quarter panel too badly there. Riley didn't give him much room.
Riley probably feels like a little bit of contact there.
Yes.
He's still going at it.
Sieg races these guys hard, man.
Jade Buford right behind him in the 48. He's thinking, y'all keep beating and banging.
Justin Haley and Josh Berry battle side by side. Justin's been trying to get around this one car for multiple laps. It's allowed Harrison Burton to close in on this battle. And when you're in a situation that Harrison's in, you see Haley dive down in the corner and take the position away.
What's your goal? Try to get to the left rear quarter so the 1 can't cross the 11 open? I mean, is that the strategy for the 20?
I think the 20 just looking for an opportunity that one of these guys gets put in a bad situation and has to lift and lose momentum. He did that earlier. We saw him pass 2 cars at once when they both put each other in a bad situation. Josh Berry is handling on that 1 car going away a little bit. I think he's giving these spots up to try these guys. Marty, what you got on the 20 car?
Yeah, Harrison having a much better run here. He said, man, we fire off terrible right after a pit stop, but you can see the strength of that 20 the further they run. Jason Ratcliffe just preaching patience to this young driver, saying, hey, you got to be calm with it, got to be patient with the race car. And Jeff, he said he learned a few lessons from you. I'm sure you don't want to give too many Cup drivers a lesson, but you can see how he's running those seams right there in 1 and 2. He said you taught him a trick about the seams. He wouldn't tell me the full trick, but he said you can use those seams to your advantage here at New Hampshire to make passes.
Well, Marty, let's talk about it after the race to see if it worked or not. Then I'll take credit, or I'll say, I don't know what he's talking about.
You won 4 of them, Jeff. I think you can take credit now. You're okay. You're clear.
So, we talk a lot. This battle for 13th continues. They're not thinking about the seams in the racetrack. They're thinking about each other. But you can see this racetrack, Junior, you and I talked about it. The seams are when they paved the racetrack, right? There's the groove he's in. See that black line that he's straddling? That seam is where 2 different pavings come together, and that seam has no grip on it whatsoever. And then this bottom, right there, where you see Sieg goes the left side's over the bottom, that's actually helping turn the car, because that very bottom lane doesn't have the banking. That actually helps point the car. So using those seams as a visual mark, where do I want my left front tire? That's, to me, the key to getting around this racetrack. Knowing what you want and then using those seams as your marker.
The battles all over the track continue. Christopher Bell out front. You won't miss a thing at NASCAR nonstop. Christopher Bell continues to lead here in New Hampshire. Justin Haley, Harrison Burton putting on a great battle right here for 6th place.
Watch this 20 car right in the middle of the corner. That thing is loose. It's all right there. It's going to chase the back of the car, getting into the corner.
So if that 20's loose, though, loose in, loose off, but it has to be, I won't say an advantage, but rolls the middle pretty good, I would imagine, if it's that free.
That is the advantage. But right here where you're pinched off, if the back of the car won't make grip, that's where it's even that much more difficult to leave the corner with Haley.
Lap traffic there does a great job of getting out of the way of both drivers.
Haley knows he can stay up the racetrack. That's going to give him a great launch on corner exit. And it's just going to punish the tires on that 20 car.
Let's go down to Marty for some updates.
Time for our Toyota driver update with Daniel Hemrick sitting in the 3rd position, trying to catch another Toyota driver, Christopher Bell, who's leading right now. How can he get it done? Dave Rogers with some advice for his driver. Listen.
I'm nitpicking, buddy, but if anything, you're trying to ask a little bit more of your car through the center than Bell. Get more speed on entry, but then check it up dead center.
And that center he's talking about is especially in 1 and 2. That's where they say Christopher Bell is beating him. Remember, Hemrick said on that last stop, you keep the track position, we can maybe win this race and beat the 54, Dylan.
Marty, Colleague Racing has struggled here in New Hampshire in the past. Just one career top 10 as an organization, but their short track program much better than the last time we were here in New Hampshire. I think evidenced maybe most by Justin Haley, who is running inside the top 10 now as he battles with Harrison Burton. Felt like they've been in a bit of a lull speed-wise, but Atlanta was a nice return to normalcy for them somewhat. Felt like they were returning back to, felt encouraged by their progress and returning back to the speed they know they have in their race car. So he's got his hands full with Harrison Burton right now as he runs in the 6th spot. Same can gotta be said for Brett Moffitt, the 02 car, the Hour Motorsports machine, who runs in the 10th position right now. Last week in Atlanta was the first time that both of the Hour Motorsports cars finished in the top 10. So trying to ride that wave of momentum here into New Hampshire this weekend. They've got Jeff Stankiewicz, who, of course, crew chief Sheldon Creed, to a Camping World Truck Series championship last year. Here this week, kind of in an advisory role, trying to keep the speed that they found in that 02 car, Marty.
Dylan, has been a solid run for Myatt Snyder, sitting in the 12th position right now. And at the end of this run, turning some pretty quick lap times, has been one of the 5 fastest cars on the racetrack, but they give up so much on the front end that they lose track position, struggling with the handling of the race car. And with this 2 team, they've really been bouncing back and forth, kind of running some of the Tyler Reddick-based setups when Tyler won the championship for RCR, trying to run some setups that work for Myatt. So this weekend, nice solid run, exactly what the 2 team needed, Junior.
Sitting there in 12th place. Great battle for 6th still going on.
Oh, Harrison with a huge slide on corner exit. That's going to allow Josh Berry to the inside of this car.
Yeah, the 20 car has just been way loose this entire run through the center of the corner. Every time you see it stepping out. And then Berry running him up the racetrack saying, hey, I'm taking the spot. Then the harder Harrison runs, the more it hurts those tires. And the longer this run goes on, the harder it's going to be to make her grip.
Yeah, Josh Berry, the short track racers, I've seen you battle with the 11, and I'm not going to get stuck side by side with you. I'm going to come on by. Daniel Hemrick up top is closed in a little bit on the 7 of Allgaier, just a car length back now. And with 74 to go, all of these cars have to pit if this run green to the finish, but they are inside their fuel window. So if a caution comes out, this is absolutely an opportunity. You come down, get your last set of tires and fuel, and you can run all the way to the finish. Marty.
Yeah, and Steve, that window just opened up for all these race teams a moment ago. So if you're wondering where Michael Annett is with the 1, he actually had an injury a while back that kind of crept up and kept getting worse. He had a little fracture in his femur. So this Tuesday, Annett had surgery. He was at the shop on Thursday on crutches and thinks he'll be back at Watkins Glen. The interesting part of all this, number 1, the Olympic break helps, but number 2, they are right now above that cut line. There you see it, Annett plus 35. Talking to Mike Baumgartner, the crew chief for this race team, Bummy said, I think we'll be like plus 15, plus 25, somewhere in that range when Michael Annett comes back, and it's going to be go time. He's going to have to go. He'll still be above that cut line. Junior, this is your car. I know you want to see him in the playoffs, but Michael Annett is going to have to drive the wheels off this 1 car to make sure he stays on the right side of the cut line coming into the playoffs.
Well, if you look at the future races, There's a couple road courses in there, and Michael, he did really good at Road America. A bit of a surprise run, maybe a run of the season for that one team.
My concern is that, you know, I think you could get away with maybe not having a lot of pressure on your leg until you go to the road courses. It's going to be a real test of his physical conditioning trying to come back Watkins Glen and then Indy Road Course.
Great battles. We see this time and time again. Harrison Burton runs his car real hard, backs off. That allows Josh to go by. He calms down, gets things back underway, gets his rhythm back, and is able to go right back around the one car. Battle for second, still heat.
Yeah,
it's the 18 car. Yeah, Hemrick's trying to get by here. Oh, little contact. Little contact with that left rear tire there on the 7.
That's New Hampshire, man. You get underneath, you're like, I got you, buddy. And next thing you know, you're just handful of wheel trying to get the thing brought back around to keep from getting into the guy on the outside of you. Check out his hands. Watch his hands in the 18 car. Look how loose he gets right there, and he is so in the wheel trying to stay off the 7 of Allgaier. Great job by both guys working together in that situation.
Justin's like, I wasn't working with him.
Working together. I was avoiding him.
Not a good thing. We've seen Hemrick, you know, he has more pace, but it is so difficult to pass here, and you do have to get aggressive. You do have to use the bumper, use the door. He's got a position right here. Just take the lane away. You know, drive in just like that up the racetrack. Take it away. Don't allow that 7 to get that run back on the outside. Take the position, take the line. That's a little bit of communication issue with the spotter as well to help you know that you want to be that aggressive, right? Have a spotter that's aggressive that tells you, like, hey man, take all you need. TJ, when I drove, he had this saying. He said, you take all you need.
Yep.
And I knew that was him saying, if you don't use this guy up, if you don't take his line, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Just for the record, I used to stand up on the pit box because I knew you were getting ready to take all you need, and I want to see if it came out the other end of the straightaway.
You know the problem I got with that? The spotter never comes down and helps you in the fight. Never.
You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race in the Ambetter Vaccinated 200. Christopher Bell, the 54 car out front. Almost 4 seconds over Justin Allgaier. Marty, you got some great news on that 54 car.
Yeah, I think a lot of credit for this season in the 54 car. They've won with 2 different drivers, Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs as well. Looking like Christopher Bell might be the third. Is Chris Gale, the crew chief for this. Now remember, Chris Gale was a crew chief in the Cup Series for Joe Gibbs Racing. And then he was told, we're going to demote you to the Xfinity Series. We're going to move you down. You're going to work with a host of drivers. We're not even sure what the schedule is going to look like. And he told us a couple weeks ago, I honestly was mad. I was ticked off when all that came down. He said, I thought I deserved to be in the Cup Series still. It was an absolute gut check. But he said, at the end of the day, I thought, you know what? My best answer is to go in and, quote, destroy the field in the Xfinity Series. Steve, I think he's answered that bell very well. Clearly the 54 car, the car to beat every week. Yes, he's had Kyle Busch 5 times, but he's also won with Ty Gibbs and looking like he might win with Christopher Bell as well. Chris Gale is probably the unsung story of this 54 team this year.
Absolutely, Marty. I mean, 2 things surprised me. One, that he was so honest. I mean, we've all had those points in our career where we've kind of had that look in the mirror moment, decide what you want to do, but I didn't go around telling the media about it. I kind of kept it to myself. Chris Gale was very honest about his emotion through that situation. And talk about a refocus of that emotion, Jeff. Shocking to be able to get refocused and put just great race cars on the racetrack.
And as this battle continues, I mean, Chris Gale has been coming down from the Cup Series. You know, that is a demotion. No matter how you say it, Gibbs was committed to him, said, look, man, we like you. We want you in our company. And he just said, you know what, I'm going to make this work. And he's gone to work, and he's been the best car. He's done an incredible job. Finally, Daniel Hemrick clears Justin Allgaier.
Work, my man, now get your rhythm. Go get that leader.
Great battle right here. Harrison Burton and AJ Allmendinger for 6th place. Seems like we were just talking about this about 20 laps ago.
That 20 car is sideways every time we show him on screen.
And 16's no straighter. Both these guys struggling with some balance issues, working hard. Man, 20 car loose down into the corner right there. Great shot to be able to see these cars using different lines, how they create the advantage in runs, how they defend position. Harrison trying to take the line away. He's like, man, maybe I ran him high enough. Not quite.
Clear. Spotter's got to be yelling clear right here. Let him know. Get in front of him. There you go.
A little bit late, but AJ cuts him a break, getting the corner there.
It's easy when we have the helicopter shot. We can see you clear.
Yeah, that would be a great spotter from the helicopter. Great spotter.
Spotter's like, it's not that easy.
Some of those spotters will be requesting helicopters next year. Josh Berry moves in on the back of the 16 car now. Behind Josh, Noah Gragson, Mike Snyder. Rounds out that top 10.
I mean, really, Christopher Bell out to a 4.5-second lead, but that's the only real gap in the field. I mean, you look at Hemrick back through the top 15, 16. I mean, less than 1 second between all the different battles on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's really close, and it shows you how, we talked about the restarts, how important they have become. I mean, if you took that one car and you were able to start him in 2nd or 3rd, he probably could run 2nd, 3rd, 4th. He has that enough speed to do that, but he has so much ground to make up. You have to make it work on restarts.
All that pace on corner entry that Allmendinger had is gone from that car. He just can't get in the corner deep enough. There's no rear grip. Car using all of the racetrack. Look, sliding the back all the way up to the top of the groove right here. That thing drives. Oh, he gets really loose off turn 2. Oh, man. Noah to his outside. Not quite enough room up there.
Noah wouldn't be there if he saw how loose Allmendinger was. I mean, you get on the outside of a car, getting in the corner, it just tries to pull the car around.
Let's take a look here and see how that happened. There was contact. Just looks like the 16 just really loose. It was close, man.
Josh Berry said on the radio, I didn't mean to hit him, but he was so sideways, he just was
we
there.
got a car on the wall here.
Man, it's a tough break for the 23 Hour Motorsports second car, teammates with the 0-2. We talked to Patrick this week. He was excited to start. This was his first Xfinity Series start here in New Hampshire. Ran in the modified race earlier. 28-year-old out of Orchard Park, New York. He was fun to talk to, Jeff. I hate to see that his race ends prematurely here. Let's see what happens if he has a tire go down or contact with the wall first.
Looks like the right front's low on the splitter right there.
Yep.
And we had some right front tire issues last year in the Cup Series. Remember, the Xfinity guys did not run here, but the Cup cars did, and they had some right front issues, and we're 50 laps into a run here.
Yeah, brake temperature can melt that bead on that right front. It can't be camber. Our Motorsports so excited. 2 cars in the top 10 a week ago. Just so many positives. Regardless of where he finished, I wanted to see Patrick here win his first Xfinity start. Just run all the laps. Have a good time. It's really unfortunate.
Well, you mentioned he ran the modified race earlier today. He came into this race in the modified series leading that point championship. So a front runner in the modified series.
This pretty much sets up the rest of the field to come down to pit road and get a set of tires and the remaining fuel they're going to need to finish this race.
You got to have a good stop. If you're Harrison Burton, who's been trapped a couple times on pit road, you're so thankful right now that Brandon Godovic at the 26 is a lap down. You hate to wish something bad upon your competitor, but whew, thank goodness I'm going to have a nice clear opening to leave my pit stall. So just a lot of everything's on the line, right?
Yeah, this is the money stop. Got to have great pace down pit road. Don't speed. Don't drive through too many boxes, make any mistakes as a driver, and plus then the team's got to perform. This is the moment that they've been waiting for. I don't think no matter what happens the rest of the race, if you're in that top 10, you're not coming to pit road. You give up way too much track position, too many cars on the lead lap.
And no tires. In the Xfinity Series, this is your last set. When you put this set on, you are out of tires. Now it goes back to what Jeff said. It's all about the pit stop and the restart, because I believe what you said was accurate. If you take Josh Berry and put him on the front row, I don't know if he has the same speed as Christopher Bell, but he can run on the top 2 or 3. So it is a race, though. You have to position yourself there with a good pit stop, good restart, and the choose. Once we get them off pit road, then we got to choose what lane they want to start.
Here the car's coming around, hustling to try to get caught up. Dylan.
Long way back there from race leader Christopher Bell to second place Daniel Hemrick. Then you've got Justin Allgaier and Austin Cindric tucked in there in that little group of 3. Allgaier will peel off here. Just said simply, his car doesn't have the center cut that those Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas do. Said it's unbelievable how good those cars are. They're going to try to put some tape on the grill, change 4 tires and fuel for Allgaier, and see if that helps, Marty.
Boy, Daniel Hemrick was so good on the long run, Dylan. His biggest struggle, 1 and 2, just a little bit tight on the exit, and because of this cloud cover, he said they're running 10 below on temps. Look for tape on the grill for a lot of these race teams like Christopher Bell. You see that bottom of the screen? He said the key to that run, he was able to stretch it early on in the run, but he feels like he gives up a little bit towards the end.
Watch the race off of pit road. A few gaining here, a few losing. It's been domination from the 54 car all season long. 2 wins by Ty Gibbs, 5 by Kyle Busch. Christopher Bell has dominated today, winning stage 1, winning stage 2. He leads them off the pit road the final 50 laps. The one night when the world comes together. The world's biggest show on the world's biggest stage. The opening ceremony of the Tokyo Olympics. Friday, 7:30 Eastern on NBC. Check out this footage right here. This is Tyler Justice Page. He's an employee at Junior Motorsports. You're kidding? Yeah, made the Olympics sailing for America Samoa. It's going to be fun to cheer him on over the next several weeks.
Wait a second, y'all need
sailing lessons?
an Olympian? What am I just finding out about this? That is amazing.
Well, you got somebody to cheer for in that event.
Can I just say I'd have to have one of those seasickness patch right behind my ear
no
on that
doubt.
deal?
No doubt.
Let's go down and talk to Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett. Guys, what do you think about these last few final laps?
Hey, listen, I don't know, man. You got your last adjustment, your last set of tires, your last chance. There's hope. There's still hope that somebody can catch this 54. There's some guy out there that believes he can do it right now.
Yeah, Christopher Bell coming back into this series and showing us just how good he really is. In case we didn't remember that, he's had some good runs in the Cup Series this year too, obviously with the win there. But Daniel Hemrick finally has what he's looking for, and that's to be lined up right behind and right with that teammate on this restart. Can he get the job done to get that first win?
I don't know what's going to be more exciting, the last 50 laps of this race or Junior Motorsports in the Olympics. I don't know which one. I don't know which one.
Pretty impressive.
This Jules could be very important. Here we go.
Whew. Christopher Bell picked the bottom of that 54 car. Daniel Hemrick looking for that first win on the outside. Can he enter turn one and roll the center with Christopher Bell and pinch him off on corner exit and get the lead?
Now remember, you know, Daniel Hemrick was in a really good place in position in Atlanta and had some issues there with the late race restart and Kyle Busch in the 54. Some contact. Kyle goes on to win the race. Here they are, racing again. It always works out that way. Kyle's not in the 54, Christopher Bell is, but the 18 again. Hemrick with a shot to win this race. Coming to 45 to go on this restart. The Geico restart zone. I think no matter which lane the leader is in, it is hard to beat the leader. He is the control car, the guy that's going to get in the throttle first. So difficult to anticipate that if you're Hemrick. AJ Allmendinger losing a few spots back there, top of the screen.
And I think what you just said about the leader taking the bottom was all the way through the field. The top just wasn't as good in the second and third row. You look at the 20 of Harrison Burton. He started outside row 3 with the leader in the inside lane. I think he might have had a better shot on the inside lane, at least accelerating into 1. But he does a nice job there of clearing the 11, and now the 18 is under fire from the 22 of Cedric. Penske cars, Cup, Xfinity, I don't care who's behind
the 9 cars backing into the wall in the center of the corner.
Oh, man.
Keep her on here. Keep her on.
No yellow.
And this battle for the lead. Allgaier all underneath Christopher Bell.
I was getting ready to say how good the Penske cars were on the short run, and I look up, and here's the 7 of Junior Motorsports trying to make a short run attack.
These tires just sometimes take a while to come in. You have to imagine that Christopher Bell and his guys are struggling just a little bit with the grip. Possibly the 17 added a little bit of air in those left side tires so he could take off on this restart. Expecting this to be a short run to the finish, you might not need to be as low on air as you traditionally are throughout the race.
Whatever they did, it is working. This is the most pressure the 54 has seen all day long. The 7 to the inside. Wow.
Both drivers committed big time to the entry.
They both tried to overdrive the corner, but they both did it. Great job, maintaining control into the corner. If you're Allgaier, though, you're not thinking about a long run right now. You're not saving tires. Get this spot. Put tons of pressure on that 54 car.
I'm amazed with these two battling each other. The 22, contact between the 7 and the 54, I think a little bit. Thought the 22 would close in, and now he has.
I have to think that the ability in that 7 car on this short run is going to fade. That 54 is going to eventually start to get a little better and a little better. As you see him, he's not under quite as much pressure this last lap. Marty, what you got?
Well, Dale, I think if you're Christopher Bell in the 54, you're a little worried because remember their strength on the last 2 runs has been the early part of the run. They were a little weaker at the end of the run, so Bell's going to fight for every inch he can to make sure that 7 stays behind.
Yeah, I think that I feel like they might have put a little air in the 7 car to get that advantage on the restart. You have to try to get that advantage and take the lead while you have it. But now the 54 is starting to show out, starting to put a little pace together and drive away from these guys.
Well, as you mentioned that, let's go back and look at the 9 of Noah Gragson. This is down the backstretch, kind of to the bottom. Oh, heavy contact by the 16 of Allmendinger into the rear bumper.
I saw a lap before I was talking about how Allmendinger was up out of the racetrack. Could have been some contact, something that went on between this 9 car and AJ's returning the favor.
Yeah, because AJ easily could have lifted right there. You see the 2 of Myatt Snyder, they're all keeping pace, and AJ's like, I'm just coming in there with you, buddy. I'm moving you out.
Left rear tire on that 9 car, wheel hopping into the corner. He's trying to control that car.
Reminds me of the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? You only see the fight. You don't see the 3 shots that were taken before they threw the gloves down.
Look at this right here.
So the 7 car worked really, really hard. And now he's under attack from Cindric. How much did he abuse those tires? How much is that car tightened up for Justin?
And it's hard, too, because the more he battles the 22 and they run side by side, the more it brings the 18 and the 20 right to the rear bumper.
Oh, it's close right there.
Yeah.
Behind this battle, the 2 of Myatt Snyder, he is a fast car right now. He just got by Justin Haley. There's a shot of him. Can he run this mess down? All right, so here we go. You talked about the shot before we actually saw. This was a lap before. Get in the corner, a little bit of contact, and up the racetrack, Allmendinger goes.
And we already know Allmendinger has been struggling with rear grip. He was probably frustrated.
And looky here, the 22 just a moment ago was battling with Justin Allgaier, and now heated those tires up. Got him a little ticked off, and the 18 car and the 20 car putting the pressure on. Hemrick trying to get to the outside here. Not enough room to quite get that whole car up alongside.
This has been some good racing today.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to miss any of this battle. Late in the race, we're going to go NASCAR nonstop with the 18, 22 side by side. Back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Christopher Bell out over a second to Justin Allgaier and Daniel Hamrick. Austin Cindric in fourth. Harrison Burton rounding out the top 5.
Well, that's a 54 right here. Gets caught behind a little bit of traffic. Seems like every lap, the fastest car on the racetrack is that orange and black car, the 18 of Daniel Hamrick, his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. 28 laps to go. A second and a half. I believe he could get there if he could put some good laps together. And what a year of heartbreak it's been for Daniel Hamrick. Still searching for his first win. And you mentioned it, Junior, just a little bit ago. It wasn't Christopher Bell in the 54, but Kyle Busch tries to push him on a restart, gets him turned around, and Dale Jarrett talked to Daniel Hamrick at the beginning of the race. And DJ said, listen, I have a record, and you don't want it. And there it is at the bottom left. Basically 10 runner-ups before a win. Daniel Hamrick sits at 9.
How about Elton Sawyer there? Virginia racer, late model racer. He's in the booth next to us.
Yeah,
works for NASCAR now.
Marty, what you got on this 18?
I don't think that we need to remind Daniel Hamrick of that stat. He knows the 9 second place finishes. He also knows how good his car is on the long run, and that's the focus for the 18 right now. Don't let the 54 and Bell get too far out. By the time his car came to life on the last run, Bell was gone by 4 seconds. Right now, just up by 1.6. They still believe in the 18 camp they can catch their teammate, Dylan.
And Marty, kind of on the other side of that spectrum, Austin Cindric certainly felt like they were a little bit better on the short run and have been throughout the day. His latest report, just that he is still lacking a little bit of drive off on the corner, which, as we know here in New Hampshire, very crucial in making good lap times around here. Trying to score his first top 10 finish ever here at New Hampshire. Looking good right now as he runs in the 4th spot, Marty.
And there you see the battle between Austin Cindric and Harrison Burton. A little further back, Myatt Snyder sitting in the 6th spot. He restarted 14th on this restart, gained a couple positions right away. Car has been very good, especially on the long runs. Jeff, I'm feeling like you feel when Harrison's running up front. It's hard to watch your son, especially when he's running that good, but Dylan.
And Marty, behind him just a little ways is the Jeb Burton machine, who runs just outside the top 10 in the 12th spot. So talked about AJ Allmendinger's handling woes. You know, Jeb and AJ a lot of times have their cars set up pretty similar, and today that's certainly been the case, at least from the driver feedback perspective. Jeb has not been very happy with the race car and just said that the car is just not where he wants it to be. It's been loose, it's been tight, it's been all over the place. So the instructions here, just keep doing what you're doing. Try and go get AJ here, who sits just in front of him in the 11th spot. Race his car, not the racetrack. They're just going to try to get what they can get here. They'd like to get all 3 of these Colic cars in the top 10, but a little bit of work to do now for Jeb as he runs in 12.
Well, 2 spots in front of Jeb Burton. It's hard to believe that we saw the 98 of Riley Herbst sideways on the front stretch, nosed into the inside wall as we go on board with the helmet cam. What a great recovery all the way up to the 10th position. And this is how it happened, Junior, on the restart to get stacked up.
Yeah, he gets turned into the inside wall. A lot of trouble in this restart for lots of cars. Teams come down pit road, and he's going to make a lot of repairs, and they got that car pretty sporty.
Yeah, he's done a nice job working through traffic, not overheating the brakes, not overheating the tires, even with the damage on the right front. And now we're on board, 23 laps to go, running into 10th position.
And another nice job, Steve, of just collecting himself, right? Like, not going to have another bad day, right? Like when you start having bad days and then you have something happen, you're like, oh no, another bad day. It only gets worse. In this case, Riley caught his breath, said, you know what? We're going to make this work. Done a nice job of managing a bad situation. How about in front of him? Brett Moffitt having another good day, ran really well at Atlanta last week. I don't care what you put Brett Moffitt in, he's going to run well, but at Atlanta, he's going to run really well.
Yeah.
I always see that guy at the front of the races whenever we go to that slick racetrack.
Think about it. This is the driver that started, running for truck points the beginning of the year, and after a few races that didn't suit what he thought his best chance was, so he converted to Xfinity Series points, even though he missed some races and was very far behind. Currently in 20th, 187 points out of the cut line. I think he knew it was going to take a win, but he felt like he had a better chance of trying to win in the 0-2 than the position he was in trucks.
Coming up after the end of the Xfinity race here in New Hampshire, IMSA Racing from Lime Rock Park, and at 8:30, Lucas Oil Motocross, Spring Creek Park. A couple great shows there on NBCSN. Battle right here. 18 trying to close in and get to the back bumper of the 7 car. I think Hamrick has a little more pace than Justin. Justin surprised me, though. I thought that car would not do too well in the long run just because of the early run speed we saw it have. He's mellowed in here at second place. Marty, what you got on the 18 now?
Well, we talked about how good Junior he is on that long run. Jeff, I want to get some counsel from you. They preached to him. Dave Rogers probably said it 8 times. Be careful with the car early in the run. We know how good we are at the end of the run. 19 to go, and they still can gain some ground on the 54, but how do you take care of the car early to make sure it's good there late?
You know, the problem with that, Marty, is that 54 car is getting further away while you're taking care of it. And what you're hoping for, Steve, would be that you haven't hurt your tires and you get a caution. And maybe you haven't been as hard on your tires as that guy that's leading the race, and you can take advantage of that. But, you know, you got to go when you got to go, right? When you have an opportunity to get somebody, you just got to go try to get them.
I think what you see too, Jeff, and you can talk about this because you got a son moving into the Cup Series, it's a difference that a Cup driver takes in approaching how he runs and drives the car. He doesn't wait on the car to come to him. He doesn't wait on the tires. He goes after the car and attacks early. And that's what these other guys that are moving to the Cup Series will learn, is that, man, they race a lot harder. When they drop the green flag, they race much harder than they've ever experienced in the Xfinity Series.
And when people talk about racing, and, you know, talk about 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't care any facts people want to point out. The truth is, these restarts are harder than they were 20 years ago. Double file restarts. I mean, I was here when it was single file restarts. I know the drivers were driving hard, but they would settle in, see whose car was better, and go race. Now it is attack from the word go.
Yeah, we used to line up with the lap cars on the bottom. Well, guess what? There was a reason there was a lap car.
Yeah.
They were slower than the guys on the outside. Now you take the fast cars and put them right next to you. And that's even a bigger advantage for Christopher Bell. So think about when this restart happened. He had clean air. He was being pushed by Allgaier, but he was able to take it a little easier on his car than everybody else, just simply because he had clean racetrack.
Well, with 16 laps to go, why don't we take a look at the playoff standings as they run. A lot has been made about Michael Annett, not currently in, but still 32 points above. Doing a nice job. Riley Herbst recovering, closed that gap down to 32. And this matters because 7 races from today will set the field for the Xfinity Series playoffs. And it is a variety pack, to say the least. A couple road courses, high-speed Michigan. We'll go down plate racing at Daytona, Darlington, Richmond, and then, let's settle it at Bristol. I mean, high banks at Bristol. That should be nice and calm.
Settle in at Bristol?
A lot of races left. 7 left after today for the Xfinity Series.
So this battle right here for second. Christopher Bell is out by 2.5 seconds. But this is a very important position because if the 18 car of Hemrick can get by Allgaier and we get a caution, now he can pick the lane he wants. He can pick where he wants to go. That'll give him the best shot to win this race.
See the rotors glowing on the front of that 18 car. Brakes take a real beating at this racetrack. Especially when you're behind another car, you really kind of not getting quite as much air into the brake cooling as you would being out front. I just don't know how you make this pass without either lap traffic creating a problem for the 7 car or Justin having a mistake or 18 just using the bumper a little bit, getting into that door a little bit, leaning on him, moving him up the racetrack, stealing his line.
Well, we talked a lot about youth in this series. The one guy I don't want to have to wait for a mistake is the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He just doesn't make many mistakes. A lot of experience, and he shows.
He has a ton of laps. Good race car driver. Oh, Hemrick all the way down on that white line. Allgaier knowing it, just pinching him off, making it even more difficult for Daniel.
That's the veteran in Justin. So they entered the corner low because of a lap car, and Justin knew that put him in a vulnerable situation. So he ran the line that would also put the 18 in a bad spot, right? Got to give the 18 any opportunity.
As we watch this battle right here for second and third, don't forget, this is only race 1 of a full weekend of racing here at New Hampshire. We're going to do it all over again. Another racing team broadcast, 2:30. Countdown to green will be me, KP, and DJ on the front of the grid. I had a blast down there. And then Junior, 3 o'clock, we're going to set it up here. I'll come up and join you and Jeff. And then a little bit of post-race show, NASCAR America at 6:30. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Justin sideways right there. 18 all over the apron, the whole car down there against the inside wall of a turn 2.
And Daniel saw Hemrick that loose. And so what do? You try to get that front bumper right to his rear bumper. Put tons of pressure on him right here on corner exit and then corner entry. Keep the car below his.
When you have another car that close to you, it does bother the air on the back of that 7 car. It makes this car a little bit uncomfortable.
See Daniel pinching that car off on corner exit. Allgaier loose on exit, and then watch, Allgaier's actually able to drive in the corner deeper. Now Hemrick changed it up on him, went to the 3rd lane.
This will be a good situation for Daniel possibly to have some momentum on corner exit. Look at the run he gets. He gets a little sideways. That hurts his speed somewhat.
Well, we have this battle right here. Christopher Bell is doing a nice job out to a 3.8-second lead. Look at that defensive move by the 7. How about Christopher Bell, guys? 2 Xfinity races at New Hampshire. He's won both of them. Xfinity didn't run a year ago. Here he is back in the 54, currently leading by over 3 seconds. An impressive performance.
And again, Chris Gale, the crew chief on that car, he said, you know what? I'm just going to go stomp the field. I'm just going to go destroy them. He's done it.
So Junior, I'm sorry, Jeff, but Junior, the question is, when you look at the 54 Christopher Bell, he's won a race, he's in the playoffs, but, you know, chasing Kyle a little bit, chasing Denny on Sundays. Do you think coming out and having this confident performance, can you carry that forward to Sunday? I mean, it can't hurt when you get in your Cup car.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you don't have practice and you're basically be getting in the Cup car cold without any understanding of what this track's going to do. They're not applying any PJ1 this weekend. So now you have more information. You know more than the guys you're competing with. Even if that really physically, tangibly doesn't matter, mentally you go in with an advantage. You think you might be better off. And if you give a driver more confidence, I mean, that is absolutely going to help.
In a short race, too. I mean, I know today's 200. Well, tomorrow's only 300. So when a Cup races, this is a short one.
He starts 9th tomorrow. And when they drop the green flag and he drives into turn 1, he knows what to expect.
Yep.
And he may be the only one in the field that can say that.
I don't think he needs help at this particular track. He's good here. But this information that he's learning about this track and where the grip is, that's helping him a lot.
This battle right here has continued to rage between the 7 and the 18 as they work through traffic. We talk a lot about Daniel Hemrick not getting the win yet, running seconds. One thing that has never wavered is his attitude. I mean, he's kept a smile in every interview. His frustration behind the wheel, I haven't seen him starting to hit people or move people. You know, he's doing a really nice job of staying patient when perhaps it's the hardest.
Daniel grew up racing legend cars, then into super late models, worked on his own cars, understands his race cars, kind of an old school racer.
This lap traffic could present an opportunity for Daniel. There, right there. He's got to run. He's going to stay behind this 7 and push him down the straightaway.
Go up in the middle of the corner, try to get a turn on exit, or did he just miss the corner?
I think he was trying to do that, but just that 7 car isn't that bad. I mean, the 7's not slow. He's also getting around the corner pretty good himself.
As these two are battling, Christopher Bell is happy. He's extended that lead a little bit as now we have 2 laps to go.
The lap car is pointing Justin to the inside. Justin has a little bit of room. He looks in the mirror and sees that gap that he has, that comfort he has. This 54 car has been fast. We saw it right at the start of the race, how it went through the center of the corner, how he was driving through traffic.
White flag this time, 1-4.
1 to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. Christopher Bell rolls through turns 1 and 2. Easily going through the lap traffic. If he gets the win today, it'll be the last 6 races at New Hampshire that Joe Gibbs Racing has won. Christopher will be joining Kyle Busch as the 2nd driver to win 3 straight races at New Hampshire. Off of turn 4, Christopher Bell dominates the New Hampshire race here.
3 for 3, man. Great job. Hopefully you learn something you can use tomorrow.
There you hear it. Learning all kinds of great information in today's race to use tomorrow in the Cup Series race. 17th career win and his 75th start for Christopher Bell. Incredible job this year by the 54 team. They won 7 of the last 9 races with 3 different drivers.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, and Ty Gibbs, like a youngster, a brand new guy to the series. Christopher, I don't know what he has figured out here, but it is working.
He's not going to tell you.
I love this about the Xfinity Series where the Cup regulars compete. I love it when we get one Cup regular to come down here and it's like, hey, come and get it, boys. Christopher Bell had them all chasing him today. Fans, give credit where it's due. Christopher goes over to get the checkered flag from the flag man in NASCAR. Got a fan here to let through. One young guy here is going to have a checker flag.
Got a C-Bell shirt on, doesn't he?
He sure
Yeah,
does.
that's what you got to do. Find your guy.
Let's go down to Marty, who's with the winner.
How about that young man who got the flag? And how about the performance from Christopher Bell today? Leads all but 49 laps here at New Hampshire. Still undefeated at this place. I want to ask you what you have figured out about this Magic Mile.
What I got figured out is I got really, really fast race cars to drive. I just love being here with Joe Gibbs Racing. All these Supras that I've had the last 3 times that I've been here have been amazing. So hopefully this Camry's just as good tomorrow, but man, it feels good to win. Finally got DeWalt in victory lane. I know it's been a long time coming.
How about the flag for the young man? I mean, you went and sought him, found him out, found a Christopher Bell shirt, and wanted to give him that flag.
Yeah, I was looking. I don't see a lot of Christopher Bell shirts up there. There's another one right there, but yeah, it was really cool to see a kid wearing my t-shirt. That's really special. So hopefully he's got a lifelong memory, and man, I love this place.
So with the decision from NASCAR, kind of before the Xfinity race, no PJ1 on the racetrack tomorrow, how much did you learn and how much will that be an advantage for you tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think these weekends with no practice and qualifying, you're not sitting in the car until they drop the green flag. This is a really big advantage, especially coming here. The Xfinity Series rules package is really similar to the Cup Series rules package, so hopefully it'll be pretty similar. And I really hope that we got a really fast Camry tomorrow, and just really proud to be at Joe Gibbs Racing. Everyone here does an amazing job.
Congratulations, Christopher Bell in victory lane. And I think all of you guys in the booth, if you hadn't set the fantasy lineup yet, you might want to put Bell in the lineup for tomorrow.
Man, he's not in my lineup. That might be a good idea.
He is in mine.
No comment. I got to catch up.
Coming up on NBC after the race, IMSA Racing from Lime Rock, 8:30. Lucas Oil Motocross, Spring Creek Park. Pretty amazing race by the 54 team today. Domination, stage 1 winner, stage 2 winner, race winner. Put the rest of the field tomorrow in the Cup Series on notice. Final thoughts from the booth after the break.